Welcome back. Joining us today in the studio is an internationally acclaimed artist whose aim is to raise awareness of the heroic work of military working dogs, a soldier's best friend. And she's doing this through her sculptures. Please welcome our next guest, Susan Bahary. So you brought some really nice friends here with you today.
Yes.
And I want you to tell me a little bit about how you got into sculptures for military dogs. And I know you wanted to begin specifically with this one.
Yes, I've always loved dogs, and I've been sculpting for over 20 years, dogs and horses and other subjects. But I received the commission of the first dog, Always Faithful, in '94. It is our country's first monument, officially monument, to the war dogs in our country. And there are several castings. The original is at the U.S. Naval Base in Guam at the War Dog Cemetery in honor of the dogs who died in World War II. And there are other castings at various universities and at Quantico.
Okay, so I know you have a love of animals. What brought you to this particular type of work?
Well, I think that being able to express the love that I have for the animals and put it in my art, and then be able to try to do justice to the amazing, courageous people and the dogs, the military who do so much to keep us safe and free, and these animals that are courageous and do so much, give their all for us, is pretty powerful.
Do you think they get overlooked?
Well, I'm surprised that more people don't know about it, but I'm happy to be here to talk about it.
Okay. Now, the one on your end, I know you want to speak about that one. Tell me a little bit about this one.
This one is Faithful Partner, and it was commissioned for all the canines who die in the line of duty in the state of California. It's UC Davis Veterinary School, and it is on a star-shaped base. These are the small versions of the life-size monuments. And on the monuments are the names of the dogs who die in the line of duty, and every couple of years there are very special, touching memorials and place of healing for the officers. And there's a second version of this at Eglin Air Force Base to all of our working dogs who do all kinds of things to help us.
Okay, now speaking of working, how long does it take you to do something like this?
Well, it takes really a few months from the first research of how the animals, what they do and how they should look, to the clay, the mold making, the casting. The entire process is about that long.
Now, when you're working with a dog, can you work on more than one project at once, or are you can't?
I could, but that's an interesting question. I really prefer to work on one at a time and just put my all into it. Once I start, I can't stop. I just have to get it done.
Okay, so I was immediately drawn to this one, and who wouldn't be? Tell me about this little guy.
Yes. Well, Smokey, believe it or not, was found in the jungles of New Guinea by an army corporal in World War II. And she wasn't even 4 pounds. And he kind of hit her for a while. You're not supposed to have little dogs.
Of course.
But he taught her amazing tricks, cheered up the troops, is the first therapy dog on record, and then pulled telegraph wire through a 70-foot long pipe, 8 inches wide only, to help really ultimately save the lives of a lot of the personnel on the airstrip and the airplanes.
This little guy?
Yeah. Little Smoke, Metro Parks, the monument of her.
Okay, so people who are dog lovers like myself, we get the beauty of animals, and we know how resilient they are and how they help the human spirit. How do you tell people that who don't get it, who aren't dog lovers or animal lovers?
Well, that my work will in some way inspire them. Maybe they'll feel a little bit of that energy and that life in the piece. And when people say they do, then I hope that they'll make a difference. And being that they're monuments, hopefully generations to come will see it, hear about the stories, be inspired, and hopefully that'll help too. Okay,
now I know there was one particular story that kind of I guess you started, was the spark to everything. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Well, the Always Faithful was my first.
So who's Jacko?
Well, Jacko is a more recent dog in my life.
Jacko.
Jacko is a dog who served in Iraq and in Afghanistan with Ricky Hooker in the Army, and he was on over 170 missions. He found caches of weapons on the ground, civilians ultimately as well, when you think about that. He's retired now. But it's amazing what these animals do to save our lives. Isn't it cute to think of a dog
being retired?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I think retirement, I think of people getting a gold watch. I think of the big send-off party. But when you think of dogs retiring, it's just a different...
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But they don't seem to have any trouble falling right into that routine.
They're probably tired. Like, I need a rest.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you so much, Susan, for being here with us today.